The US Navy has been encountering more and more UFOs, and they're coming up with new guidelines for reporting them. The truth is out there. I mean, really, really out there. This is America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. This episode is sponsored by Surfshark. Because if you're going to be Googling information on UFOs, you're going to want a reliable VPN to hide your identity. Have you ever wondered if we're alone in the universe? Have you ever wondered if there are aliens who also wonder if they're alone in the universe? Well, the fact is, whether we know about each other or not, we're all alone. We live alone, we eat Chipotle alone, we die alone. What I'm trying to say is, ladies, I'm single. Anyway, back to the aliens. Now, I know talking about aliens may sound like a crazy show on the History Channel. Too much moose. But it turns out the US Navy is taking the existence of UFOs seriously enough to draft new guidelines for their personnel to report UFO sightings. Which is a change from their previous policy: if you see something, keep it to yourself. Now, before you get ahead of yourselves, UFO doesn't stand for alien. It stands for unidentified flying object. UFOs are also sometimes called UAPs, unexplained aerial phenomena, like Cirque du Soleil, or experimental Soviet aircraft, or those pesky flying monkeys. Of course, it's possible some of the UFO sightings could be aliens. And if they are, I hope they're a little more on the ALF side of things and a little less on the alien side of things. But here's the news, and this is true. According to a spokesman for the Navy, unidentified aircraft enter military airspace multiple times a month. In fact, this has been happening since 2014. These sightings aren't being made by conspiracy theorists who live and work in basements. They're being made by Navy personnel. No, real Navy personnel. No, real Navy personnel. I gotta fire the graphics guy. Anyway, here's what the Washington Post says about the actual Navy UFO reports. In some cases, pilots, many of whom are engineers and academy graduates, claimed to observe small spherical objects flying in formation, and instead of burning fuel, these vehicles all had no air intake, no wind, and no exhaust. It sounds like the perfect green vehicle for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And before you write me angry letters, I am not saying AOC is an alien. Those eyes, though. So these mysterious flying objects, which in some cases seem to be way beyond current technology, have been increasingly flying over the US, including in military airspace. Now, to be clear, the Navy is not claiming these are aliens. They're just claiming they've seen a lot of things they can't explain. But if these truly are spaceships from an advanced civilization, I have a message for the aliens. If you're landing in the United States, watch out for Border Patrol. You're technically illegal aliens. And it won't be long before angry crowds are shouting, "Build the dome! Build the dome!" So why is the US Navy drafting these new guidelines for UFO sightings? According to Chris Mellon, a former Pentagon intelligence official, it's because even though there have been more UFO sightings, Navy personnel have been, shall we say, encouraged to ignore them. He said in a lot of cases, military personnel don't know what to do with that information. They will dump the data because that is not a traditional aircraft or missile. Also, because they might be called crazy pants. But this is a serious problem. More and more trained Navy pilots are encountering strange objects capable of things beyond our current technology. What if they turn out to be some new enemy fighter jet? It's probably not a good idea to pretend something doesn't exist just because we can't explain it. Like that mysterious rash. The other problem is that if no one records UFO sightings, they can't share the data with other agencies, so we don't really even know the scale of it. This is hardly the first time the US has taken an interest in UFOs. In 2017, the New York Times and Politico discovered a Pentagon program to study them. It was called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. It started in 2009 thanks largely to Democratic Senator Harry Reid. During its time, it investigated a lot of these unexplained incursions, including one that lasted several days involving the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group in 2004. In that case, Navy fighter jets were outmaneuvered by unidentified aircraft that flew in ways that appeared to defy the laws of known physics. Apparently, the UFOs looked like a fleet of Tic Tacs. The aliens come in peace and minty freshness. That program got $22 million before funding was pulled in 2012, but similar programs go back ages. The Air Force began a program in 1947 that looked at 12,000 UFO sightings before it was officially shut down in 1969, when it was presumably transferred to a more sophisticated and secretive government agency.
Wise man once told me, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
At any rate, after 12,000 UFO sightings, the Air Force concluded most sightings involved stars, clouds, conventional aircraft, or spy planes, although 701 remained unexplained. Now, I'm not saying those were aliens, but, well, you know. On second thought, I should try the moose. I thought we fired that guy. So what do you think about the Navy's new outlook on UFOs? Tell me what you think in the comments below. And let me know if you've had any close encounters of the third kind. And this episode has been sponsored by Surfshark. It's important to use a VPN like Surfshark when you go online in a public place, like Times Square or a coffee shop, or use your mobile phone literally anywhere. With Surfshark, you can protect your private information while surfing the web, like your banking info, or the websites you visit. And if you're in a country that doesn't allow you to access the entire internet, you can use Surfshark's No Borders mode to get around it. Plus, you can connect as many devices as you want. Try it out with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And Surfshark has an amazing discount for America Uncovered fans. Go to surfshark.com/uncovered to use the code UNCOVERED to get 83% off a 2-year plan. Protect yourself online. Click the link below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.